This is just a brief video to show some quick experiments I've been doing. This is the hoverboard motor with the brushless motor controller and just a breadboard to help with some of the connections and a potentiometer to do speed control. Currently running on 12 volts. This is the minimum speed you can run on 12 volts, and that's about 14 RPM. The maximum speed is 182 RPM. If you up the voltage to 28.8 volts, the minimum speed is 57 RPM and the maximum 446 RPM. I don't have a power supply that goes up to 36 volts, but I believe that's the maximum the driver can take. A useful feature with this is you have an enable line, so that if you change that to negative, it stops the motor, and you also have a direction control. And if I change polarity on that and then put the enable back on, you can see the motors going in the opposite direction. Another useful feature is that there is a pulse output from the motor that outputs a pulse every time a pole goes through, and by measuring the frequency of the wheel, I found out that the RPM of the wheel is equal to the frequency of that signal times by 0.74. That's how I was able to come up with these motor speeds. Now, this speed controller only goes from about 10% of the maximum motor speed up to 100%. So at 12 volts, this is going, I'm just changing the pot up to the maximum, which is about there, I believe. Yeah, so that's gone back to 0, back to maximum. So that's maximum at 12 volts. If I turn that up to the maximum I can do with this power supply, that's the motor going at its maximum speed, and you can see as I put a load on, the current required goes up, but I don't want to scrape my fingerprints off, so there's plenty of torque there, of course, being a hoverboard motor. So if you want any help with how I wired it up, please let me know. I'm sure this heatsink is complete overkill, but better to be safe than sorry.